Hey everybody, this is Jason Akers with Green Acres Pest Control. Still setting up the stream, but I thought I would go ahead and log on because I'm late. I'm late tonight. It's been a busy day. I had training all day. Hey Cheryl, had training all day. I have to get my license renewed every 2 years. And I had talked to my sales rep, and he said he wasn't sure if they were going to be able to do it this year or what was going to happen. And so I jumped at the first class I got. So I was in class all day, virtual class. Lots of different things to learn about, and got some pretty interesting information on bed bugs. So I thought I'd share a little bit with you guys tonight. Hoping everybody's doing all right. Happy Hanukkah for those who celebrate. Today's the first day of Hanukkah. Hope everybody's enjoying the beginning of the holiday season. I guess you could really say it began with Thanksgiving. Got me some coffee. Probably shouldn't be drinking coffee this late at night, but I like to drink coffee. So let's let everybody kind of filter in here. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'm here. That's what I'm here for. So today I had some classes that I had to do. I had one on bed bugs. I had one on cockroaches. Honestly, that was pretty much the gist of the whole day. Each class I would join up with, it was, one would be on cockroaches, or one would be on bed bugs, and then one would be on cockroaches and bed bugs, and one would be on resistance to pesticides and bed bugs and cockroaches. And of all of the chemicals they actually were talking about resistance, one of them is a imidacloprid, which is in Temprid. For those of you who don't know, Temprid is a chemical that's really common to use for bed bugs. It's actually reached pretty high resistance in the bed bug community these days. And so that's why a lot of your exterminators aren't able to kill bed bugs, because they're using Temprid. Crossfire wasn't listed as a chemical that had been issues with resistances yet, and there actually is a student at Virginia Tech that's actually working on a research on apprehend, and so hopefully we'll have a little bit more information on that. They said that they believe that there's some correlation with apprehend jobs on bed bugs not working because of, believe it or not, fungal creams. So for those of you who don't know, apprehend is a pesticide used for the control of bed bugs that's actually a fungal spore that's used, and they spray the bed. It's typically a 2-inch band all the way around the bed, and of course the walls and everything around the room. And it's a fungus that when the bed bugs crawl over it, it attacks their exoskeleton and breaks them down. And it's basically like you're giving them a yeast infection. And people that are using things like foot creams and jock itch creams and stuff like that, it's causing there's a belief, there's a hypothesis, a theory that maybe that might be something that's causing the breakdown of apprehend and causing it not to work in some situations. Andre says that's interesting, as Temprid is fairly new in Ontario, Canada. Okay, so Temprid is an imidacloprid. It's a imidacloprid. It is a neonicotinoid. So if Canadians have Temprid as a pesticide to go to, that's actually a really good thing, because it shows that they are allowing some neonicotinoids into the country. And if they're allowing that into the country, then maybe they will allow Crossfire one day into the country, and that works really, really well. The problem with bed bugs, and the reason that the bed bugs, you probably will have problems with bed bugs becoming immune to Temprid in Canada probably pretty quickly, is because they're already immune to Temprid here. A lot of them are, and we communicate back and forth. Us United States citizens and Canadian citizens travel back and forth between the States and Canada all the time, and so we bring bed bugs there, and you bring bed bugs here, and we kind of stir them around a little bit, and more than likely you'll have pretty resistant strains pretty quickly. What the guy had explained in the class I took today was that we have selectively bred a chemically immune bed bug. And the way we've done this is that the exoskeleton of a bed bug is what absorbs the pesticide. So it actually absorbs through the skin of the bed bug in layman's terms. And so what's happened is the bed bugs that have a thicker skin that don't naturally absorb the pesticide as well as some of the thinner skinned bed bugs, they don't die. All the thin skinned bed bugs do die. So the thick skinned bed bugs then have babies that are also thicker skinned. So this breeds a bed bug that is more, it's better at not absorbing the chemicals. Plus there's other things like chemical resistances and things like that inside the bed bug's body itself that it produces to also become resistant to pesticides. But I found it very interesting. I had never heard of an insect having a thicker exoskeleton. I knew that it was possible, but I didn't know that it would actually inhibit the ability to absorb pesticide. And so that's one thing I did learn today. And so I'm always learning at these. I actually found it an extremely effective way to do the course today, doing it at home, where I could actually sit here at my desk and watch the show and actually have research right side by side. So not only could I watch the streamed content, which is about 50 minutes for each class, and so I had to take 6 classes, plus I had an intermediate class in between that I had to take. And so you're watching every one of these courses of all these different speakers and professors, and then you can have another window open over here on this monitor, and I can actually read back and forth, and I can actually correlate some of the information. It's really actually a really good way of doing it. I actually hope that they do this from now on. I doubt it, going into the future, past what, whatever we're dealing with this sickness and everything. I can't say what it is because YouTube doesn't like you to talk about what's actually going on in the world today. But I don't imagine this will continue this way, but I actually thought it was a really good way to do training. I actually really enjoyed it. And I felt like I learned more doing it via the internet than doing it in person in a big room with 100 other guys that don't want to be there either. So I feel like I got a lot more out of it today than I've ever done. And I've had my license since I was 17, and so I just felt like this is the first time I went to a class where I actually got a lot out of the class. I actually learned a lot. So, and you really should, always be learning when it comes to pest control. There's always new things to learn about bugs and creatures that you're trying to eliminate. So I hope everybody's doing all right. Andre says, were the classes for personal knowledge or sort of mandatory course? This is mandatory. So every other year in the state of Virginia, I have to take a class. I've had to do this. When I was 17, I got my license, had to take a test. And so at 19, I had to do a refresher course. And so what this is you go in, it's state mandated. You have to have at least one course every 2 years where you go in and you sit down in front of professors and they teach you about, like I said, roaches and powder post beetles, termites, spiders, and all the products that are up to date on the market. And most importantly, they teach you about the mandates coming down the line and different rules and regulations you have to abide by in order to keep your license current. And that's probably the most important class of the day, is to find out, like for example, a couple years ago when I went in, they taught us that they were taking away the ability for exterminators to do tick and mosquito jobs unless you had a special, they were adding to your license a special health category. So the health category, or the category 8, is for mosquitoes and ticks. So you can't actually treat a yard for mosquitoes or ticks unless you have this health category. And they explain to you, they say, look, we've got this new category because ticks and mosquitoes contribute a lot to human health, and so we're making this special, which give it what you will. I don't think it's a very good idea. I've been treating for mosquitoes and ticks since I was 17 and never had a problem. But now all of a sudden I have to have a special category of license. But the point is that you go there and they tell you where they're changing the law and how you need to adjust your business in order to be compliant with the state law. So that's the main reason that you're going to these things, is to learn what kind of state laws that you're having to abide by. But they also give you these really good informative, and they tell you how the labels have changed. So one thing about labels in pesticides. So the label is the law. You have to follow the label of any pesticide that you use. So if I'm using, say, Crossfire. So Crossfire is what I use for bed bug control. And in order to eliminate bed bugs, I have to use a chemical that's labeled for bed bugs. And so I use Crossfire. Now, I can't turn around and take Crossfire and use it to eliminate fleas and expect it to work, because fleas are not on the label. And not only are fleas not, because fleas are not on the label of Crossfire, it's illegal for me to use Crossfire to eliminate fleas. And so that's a lot of the newer labeled laws. Now, several years ago, when they took organophosphates off of the market, like Durazban and Diazinon, when they started taking those away, the labels changed drastically over a period of about 5 years. You could use it outdoors, you could use it indoors, and then all of a sudden you couldn't use it indoors, you could only use it outdoors. And so it was really good to go, and beneficial to go to these classes so you would learn, because a lot of times the older label is what you have, and that's the only thing you've got to go by. Kirby says, do heat treatments get rid of bed bugs? Okay, so that's a very interesting question, because I just learned today that heat treatments are not actually very effective for bed bugs at all. So this student that's doing these research projects on heat treatments, and I can go and rewatch these classes all the way up until March of next year, which is just fantastic. He went over five of the most popular heat treatment machines, and he basically, the way he formulated the answer to the question, is heat treatment an effective mode of eliminating bed bugs? He said that of all of the heat treatment methods, none of them are 100% effective. He said it's almost like you still need to use a pesticide residual along with a heat treatment if you're expecting to use a heat treatment. And some of the heat machines are so non-effective, I mean, they're just not effective at all, that the price, it's just not worth doing a heat treatment in any aspect at all. And this is what I've been saying on my channel for 4 years, that I get flack for, but I'm in the field every day. I see failed heat treatments every day. And so, I don't have to be a student in a college to tell you that heat treatments are not the most effective way to eliminate bed bugs. The most effective way to eliminate bed bugs is a chemical application. It's always been the most effective. It always will be the most effective. And it just will. It's just the way it is. In fact, he didn't just do heat treatments. He actually talked about freeze treatments as well. So there's this new technique over just the last few years. I think Termites is one of the companies that do it, where they use a freeze gun. And so it's emitting this, I think it's like liquid hydrogen, and they use it on the bed bugs. And what it does is it actually, if it doesn't hit them directly on target, it actually ends up blowing the bed bugs across the room, like launching them like a trampoline, and the bed bugs don't actually die at all. They just end up halfway across the room instead of dead. So these devices, heat, freeze, even your cedarwood oils and stuff like that, have been designed to be a non-pesticide approach to eliminate insects. And because there's been this big push against the pesticide industry to eliminate pesticides from the market and do a more natural approach, that's why these heat machines, freeze machines, and all natural type, organic products have come on the scene. But he actually showed where the cedarwood oils don't even work at all, and that's just, they did it in the field. So what they did was they actually took infested apartments with bed bugs, and they applied the all natural green type products to these bed bugs, like Eco-Raider and stuff like that. And they actually found that it really wasn't that effective. Now, in cases where people maybe had to have it, like maybe hospitals or something, maybe they had to have an Eco-Raider type pesticide applied, they were able to eliminate the bed bugs, but it took a really long time. They eventually got rid of them, but it took a really, really, really long time. Some of the applications got up to 15 15 applications just to get rid of a bedbug population. And that's over months and months and months of constantly reapplying the pesticide. And so it's just not, these green type products and the heat and freeze treatments are just not a viable solution. They're just not. Crossfire is what I recommend. It's actually in the description. It should be in the description below, a link directly to it, because people always ask, and I just put a link just like right there. But that's the pesticide I use. It's kind of hard to get it in Canada if you're from Canada, but that's what I use. I have 100% success with Crossfire. It's just amazing. As long as I get, now I say 100%, as long as it's a two-way street. So this is the way that roaches and both roaches and bed bugs and fleas, really, it's really a two-way street. You have to work with your customer. And I find as long as you communicate with your customer and you're open with your customer, you've got open modes of communication, and you're honest with one another, usually that's the best type of relationship to have with your customer, and you're able to get rid of their bedbug problem. And so you have to explain to them, no, this is what I need to do. No, the clutter is not good. We can't have clutter. We try to get the room cleaned up the best we can. Try to have everything in its place so that we can eliminate this bedbug infestation. This is what we need to do to eliminate this problem. And the customer will work with you, but you really have to have that open communication with your customer. So Mr. Sub says, I ordered Crossfire after watching some of your videos. Just found bedbugs last week in my mother's place. The landlord is painting next week. Should I spray before or after the painting? I would do it after. I would treat after painting, because that way you've got, let the paint sit for a day or two, let it cure, and then I would go ahead and treat. Majestical said, will Crossfire itself last longer on the shelf than being diluted with water? Yes. It will last longer on the shelf than being diluted with water. I don't recommend mixing it with water unless you're going to use it. AAA Exterminating says, essential oils are garbage. All they do is stink. You know what essential oil pesticides do to me? It makes me run out of every orifice of my face. My nose produces too much snot. My eyes run horrible all over my face. And then I'm looking at the customer and I'm like, yeah, it's not gonna hurt you at all. It's completely safe. And I'm crying and it's miserable and it's awful. It's absolutely awful garbage. I hate it. And it makes you miserable and it doesn't kill the bugs. And the bugs are just looking there and going, look at this dumbass. You know what I mean? They just look at you and laugh, just spraying them with that stuff. But no, it doesn't work. And actually, the evidence proves that it really doesn't. I'm gonna get this guy's name. I'm gonna follow him. I'm gonna find out when this study is actually going to be finished, because the study he's doing on like apprehend, he's got apprehend study doing in the field. Really good, really good studies he's doing on apprehend. Amazing stuff. I actually feel like it's cutting edge. It's stuff that the industry needs done, and heat treatments, and he's also doing all kinds of different pesticide applications and which ones work the best, and it's just really good stuff. And I'll keep you abreast and let you guys know how things are going. But I'm always researching bed bugs and stuff, and always wanting to know what the next thing in the industry, the leading technology. AAA Exterminating says we use Crossfire. It's very good. John Torres says, what do you think of Fast Cap, Onslaught, and Exciter to get rid of bedbugs? I don't use our IGRs to get rid of bedbugs, for one. But let's see, what is the actives in Onslaught? I've been told about Onslaught before, but I've never actually used it. It's kills German cockroaches for up to 12 months, 1 year on indoor unsealed concrete or cement surfaces only. Kills mosquitoes, including... Hey Kirby, just subscribe, thank you. Kills mosquitoes, including the mosquito. Are bed bugs on the label? They are. So let's see how... I don't know, I've never used it. Let me know. If you use it and it works, let me know. Let's see how often you'd have to treat to control bed bugs. Okay, thoroughly clean and sanitize the mattress and box springs. Treat mattress and box springs, so you can actually treat the mattress. That's a good thing. That's one of the very few chemicals that actually has mattress treatment on the label, with an approved pesticide, such as oh, wait a minute. Okay, so it says treat the mattresses and box springs with an approved pesticide such as pyrethrin aerosol, and then apply Onslaught microencapsulated insecticide as a spot treatment to potential harborage sites and migration paths and cracks and crevices around the baseboards, floorboards, headboards, and walls. So actually it's not labeled for the bed. You're supposed to treat the bed with something else. So I don't know if it would be very effective. I'm really not sure. If there's anyone else here with information on Onslaught and how it works, I'd like to know. Like I said, it's a microencapsulated. Microencapsulated pesticides are pretty good. Demand CS, I believe, is microencapsulated too. It's a really good pesticide. Let's see. Cheryl says there are 3 pests I'm terrified of: roaches, rodents, and bedbugs. What are some tips for preventing these from invading my home? Go look at my channel. I got videos on rodents. I got videos on roaches. I got lots of stuff on that. On bed bugs. Let me show you. So, actually, it was wanting to share that screen when I first came up over here. Let me see if I can show you. Oh, shift in. There we go for incognito mode. All right, so let's share that. Because I like to use incognito because it shows you as if I were you coming to the site first time ever. So if you go to YouTube and search Green Acres, and just so you know, all right, so I searched Green Acres because I know how to spell acres, A-K-E-R-S. But if you search Green Acres, A-C-R-E-S, I still come up. So I'm still there. They spell it wrong too sometimes. So you can go there. And then, see, there I am live, and you can hit this little red button. After you hit this little red button that says subscribe, which you need to do that. You search. Let's see. So you say, there are 3 pests I'm terrified of: roaches, rodents, and bedbugs. So let's search roaches. R-O-A-C-H-E-S. There's roaches. All right. Cockroach Monday. I had a Cockroach Monday series. It's episode 1, identification. Easily identify your roach problem. That's the first episode of a series. So you can go to playlist right here and you can search through the playlists. I've got mouse playlist, roach playlist, and I've got bedbug playlist. And you can learn about all this stuff. But if you scroll down, these are all of my roach. This is my most recent how to get rid of German roaches, guaranteed 4 easy steps. That's what I would recommend you look at for cockroaches. And then if you go to your mice, you can search mice. Let's just search mouse. So there's your mouse. There's a myth Monday I did for mice. There's mice Mondays I did. I did a whole series on how to eliminate mice with using mouse traps and all kinds of baits and stuff. I've got mouse control the right way. So all these mouse videos. I've been on YouTube for 4 years. I've got over 200 videos. And you see this little thing right here. This is it right here. I've got 11.9 thousand subscribers. So you guys need to just give me a few more so I can say it's 12,000. So that's why I said you got to hit that subscribe button and subscribe to my channel so you can be here when I'm live. I'm guessing you guys that are live anyway probably are, subscribe to me anyway, and you probably get the notification that, hey, I'm live. So, but anyhow. That's what I would recommend. I mean, I could go into some detailed stuff on roaches and rodents and bed bugs and stuff and tips for preventing them from getting into your house. Roaches and bed bugs, mainly you just want to try to be careful who you hang out with. Don't hang out with people with roaches and bed bugs. And rodents, you can go around and fill the holes with some copper mesh or steel wool, something like that, to try to keep the rodents out. Those are some pretty simple steps you can take. Try to declutter as much as you can so you leave as little harborage for these types of insects, and then that helps. But then, like I said, go look at the channel and watch some videos, and it'll give you a lot of information. So let's see. How much do you use for a 5-bedroom house? Oh, I got a video on how to mix Crossfire. Shoot, I wanted to have that up here so I could show you guys. But anyway, I use a gallon to do a house. So it's usually less. I usually use less than a gallon to treat a whole house, a finished solution. Hey, William. How are you? William's on here.
Oh, tell him hi.
Alicia says hi, William. All right. Edo Griff says, so the Harris Bedbug Gold Label 5-minute products have the same active ingredient as MGK Crossfire. Are they just as effective? So the problem with the Harris Bedbug Gold Label, I recommend getting Crossfire and mixing it yourself, 13 ounces to a gallon. But if you can't, get Crossfire. So people in New York State and a couple, maybe even some areas out in California, there may be some places. If you can't get Crossfire, I would recommend getting the Harris Gold Label. That's probably the next best solution. But the problem is that the Gold Label is already pre-mixed, and this is going along the lines of up here where I was actually asked if Crossfire pre-mixed would last on the shelf. It doesn't really last on the shelf. In fact, the label for Crossfire says that once you mix the chemical, you don't want to use it. You want to use it right up. You want to use it right away within the first 24 hours. You want to use your chemical up. So if you're buying Harris Gold Label off the counter shelf and it's been mixed who knows how many days, weeks, months ago, it's not freshly mixed, it may not give you the same results as something you mix yourself. So that's the problem. I hope you're enjoying your Hanukkah, William. I didn't expect to see you sitting there. That's one of my friends, William Hall, at Tanakh Talk, posting up here, sneaking around, watching my YouTubes. So, but yes, I hope everybody is enjoying their night tonight. I know I was on real late tonight because it's like, what, almost 10, 15, 10, 17. I've only been on for about a half an hour. Usually I'd been on almost an hour by now, and I'd be ready to log off and say, hey, I'll talk to y'all later. But kids were kind of hyped up tonight and having a good time, eating a lot of chocolate. My wife made these pretzels, and she coated them in chocolate, and then she rolled them in crushed peppermint candy. And then I had to eat like enough to gain 400 pounds. And so I'm not going to be able to roll out of the bed tomorrow. And she made, what else did you make? Donuts. She made homemade donuts. All right. My wife made homemade cake donuts. Okay. Rolled them in like cinnamon and sugar. And they were, I'm telling you, I'm going to gain like 400 pounds overnight. I'm not going to be able to get up and go to work tomorrow.
And we do it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
For the next 7 nights.
I know, it's going to be crazy eating all this fattening food. But, yeah, and then what else was it? Oh, we had pizza too, just because it's live stream night. Usually live stream nights I go out and I might get some takeout or something like that. So, because I just don't have time to cook a lot. I help my wife cook. She's an amazing cook, but I like to cook too. So we usually will cook together, and nights that I do my live streams, I don't really have a lot of time. I like a lot of prepare stuff, but tonight I didn't really prepare anything at all. I'm just here to talk with you guys. So because I didn't really have anything to talk about. Like I said, all day I've done nothing but sit in class all day. My brain is just like ready to burst out through my ears, and I'm just like, oh, I'm ready to just sit here and just chat, talk, hang out. But I might have to, let me see. John says, hey Jason, what's your favorite product you recommend for spider? Demon Max is the best thing for spiders. In fact, there you go. Right there. That's what I recommend for spiders. That it's cheap. I was reading a forum post. Oh, I keep hitting my mic. I think that might be a little bit too close. So I was reading a forum post the other day about Demon. And a guy's like, I don't like using Demon. I work for this other company, and they use Demon on all their exterior applications. And I feel like it's really cheap, it's really inexpensive, and then we're charging the customer all this money to do their regular monthly pest control. But Demon is really effective. It is a really good, effective pesticide for spiders, roaches, all box elder bugs. If you have problems with box elder bugs getting in, it's amazing. Stink bugs, it murders stink bugs. It absolutely, you will find piles of dead stink bugs all over the place after you use this stuff. This stuff is absolutely amazing for stink bugs, ladybugs, or Asian lady beetles, whatever you want to call them. They're orange ladybugs, what they are. But, you know, all kinds of bugs that come in this time of year in your exterior treatments, this stuff is just amazing. I love Demon, but I've been using it since I was like 8, 9 years old, and it's been around for a really long time. It's a really fairly safe. It is a pyrethrin, so it's a synthetic pyrethroid is what it is. It's cypermethrin is the active ingredient, but it's absolutely just top-notch, one of the best things I've ever used. I've used lots of different chemicals for exterior application, but Demon, just nothing comes close. It's old school knockdown. Actually, just to give you an idea with Demon, it's the only pesticide I've ever used that has been able to completely eliminate, not just a few, but completely eliminate spiders in a garage. All right, so this customer of mine, I used to do his house when I was a teenager, and you'd open his garage. His garage door was always open, and because his dogs would go, they would sleep in his garage, but then they would walk outside and do their business, and they'd come back, and basically the garage was the dog house, and so the garage door was always open, and he was always complaining that he had these spiders all around the garage really bad, and so I would treat the garage with Demon, and the spiders disappeared within 3 months. The spiders were completely gone. He never had spiders in his garage. It's the only thing that I've ever been able to use that has actually been able to completely eliminate a spider infestation to the point where there were no spiders. I use it today. I still use Demon on exterior treatments. And I don't use it indoors anymore because, I mean, the label says you can use it indoors for certain things, like fleas and things. There's certain products you can use, certain applications you can use it for. But I personally just think it kind of smells. I don't like to use smelly, stinky chemicals inside people's houses just because I don't want their perception to be that I'm using something that's going to harm them. And I typically use Alpine indoors because it doesn't have any odor at all. But I use Demon outside because it's a real good repellent. And so that's what I use outside. And I've got homes that are right smack dab in the middle of the woods, trees all around, covered in thick funnel spider webs. You go around, you brush down the webs, you treat with Demon, and for months they don't have any spiders at all. It's amazing stuff. So Edagriff says, so to mix Crossfire, do you mix 115 ounces of water and the 13-ounce bottle of Crossfire, or a gallon of water? Okay, so no, you do. Okay, so what you do is the way I mix Crossfire, it equals a gallon. So you take half of a gallon of water, and then you pour your 13 ounces into that, and use warm water. Pour your 13 ounces of Crossfire into that half gallon of water, and then you fill it up to equal 1 gallon of finished solution. So you would have the 128 ounces. You'd have 128 ounces of finished solution, not 128 plus 13. It's 128 finished solution. So, if that answers your question. Yeah, the old customers get mad if they can't smell it. Yeah. Well, you know, being me, I've gone into houses and I've had customers that say, I can't smell the pesticide. I don't think you're doing your job. I have looked, and it depends on the person. You can't do this with everybody. But I have looked at people and said, well, look, I'm sorry. I've been farting in your house all these years, and today I just don't have to. And I've actually said that to people before, and they've laughed at me. But the point is, so that's what I've told people. I'm like, all these years I've just been farting all along, and you just didn't realize I was just farting in your house. That's why it stunk so bad. But now that I'm not farting because I'm not gassy like I was all these years, I explained to the customers, I said, the thing is, I guarantee my service. If you have a problem between months and you have issues with bugs or something, you can call me, you can let me know. But the proof is in the pudding. If you've ever used that saying before, I tell people, I said, you can prove that what I'm doing works by the results. There are dead bugs all over the house. There are dead bugs. If you find any bugs at all, they're dead. If you find bugs, and that proves that the chemical actually works. Because, it doesn't matter what the chemical smells like. What matters is that you don't have bugs. So, everybody's laughing. Do those indoor plug-in ultrasonic sound repellents work? I'll tell you what those sound repellent ultrasonic things. Now, let's see. Mouse ultrasonic. All right, these are right here. These beautiful little things right here. See, only $20. I will tell you what these things are really good at repelling. Money from your wallet. They are so good at repelling money from your wallet that you can go completely, absolutely flat broke buying these trying to get rid of mice. You'll still have mice, but you won't have any money. It'll absolutely get rid of all your money. They don't work at all. They're garbage. In fact, when these ultrasonic, honestly, I don't know how there are so many of these things on the market. Because when they first came out with these ultrasonic devices, I was a teenager, and they would show them on late night TV, and they would talk about how you could put these in your house, and you would never have to pay another pest control technician again. Eliminate harmful pesticides from your house. There were class action lawsuits against these corporations that produce these ultrasonic devices because of their false claims, their false advertising about these things that don't work. And so they, because what was happening is people were foregoing extermination for things like roaches and mice that are actually health hazards. The German cockroach is the #1 leading cause to asthma, respiratory diseases in lower income family housing. It's the #1 leading cause of asthma are German cockroaches, believe it or not. And if you forego a German cockroach treatment for one of these things, you're going to get sick and you're not going to get rid of your roaches. In fact, I have pulled these things out of the wall and found roaches living in them. They don't work for mice at all. Mice are not scared away from these in the least ever. I had a customer, and I'm gonna say that there is a certain one that does work. I have a customer out at Smith Mountain Lake that had this. It was about this tall. It was, well, let's see if I can get my hands in the mirror in the frame. It's about that tall, about a foot tall, solid black, and it was in his attic. And he had it plugged in because he had problems with squirrels chewing holes through his soffits. And so what he did was he had this ultrasonic device inside the attic. He had that thing turned up so high. You parked. All right, so his driveway was maybe 30 or 40 yards away from the house where you actually parked. You could hear it from the car. You could park in his driveway, and you could hear that thing blaring in his house from the driveway. You had to go into the house and flip the breaker just to be able to do the pest control in the house because it was so ear-piercingly loud that no one could go in the house. The mice would not go in the house. The squirrels would not go in the house. A human being could not use the house. And so if you want to keep every live creature out of the house, then you can get those ones that blare. And I think it was like one of like this right here, but it may not have been. It's been a long time that I used to do his house. Yeah, and John says, I've seen rats sitting on top of those ultrasonic things. Yeah, like I said, you almost have to turn the thing up to the point where you can't even live there. I mean, you would go deaf living in the house. The sound that thing emits is so ear-piercing. And these ones that just plug in the wall, they don't really have that ability to change the ultrasonic sound that comes out. And so they just don't work at all. Would you recommend Demand Duo for bed bugs? Probably not. I don't think so. Because if it's Demand, label. I can't spell. What is it? No, I wouldn't use that for bed bugs. It's just demand. I wouldn't use it. The thing is demand. Bed bugs have become almost immune to demand, and so demand just doesn't work anymore like it used to. It's not a bad product, but it's just not very good for bed bugs anymore. I'm not kidding. I love Crossfire. I was thinking of designing a t-shirt. So I've got t-shirts I've made, and it's basically just my logo on the front. If anyone wanted to go get one, they're down in my merch store or whatever. But because they let me have one now, because I got over 10,000 subscribers. That's like one of the milestones. Once you get 10,000 subscribers, you can sell t-shirts. But I was actually thinking of designing one with Crossfire on the front. Not the chemical, but with bed bugs and like a blacked outline. But I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. I like to design things. I'm an artsy-fartsy type person. And so I designed my logo. So like my logo for my business, I designed it. Let me see. I don't know if I can pull it up anyway. But anyway, for anybody that's interested, I do have a Discord channel. That's also in the description below for anyone interested in trying to get a hold of me quicker. I never really talk about it very much. I'm pretty active on Discord. Usually if I have, so I'll show you my Discord channel. So this is Discord. This is my general, so I've got a general chat room. This is where everybody comes in. As Fred is asking me if I'm going to do live today. This was at 9:30 because I hadn't gotten on yet. And then I replied, yeah, well, it's 10 minutes later. I replied, said I was coming on, and I was getting ready, because I was getting ready, and here I am. And so then I have a bedbug channel, and so whenever I do a live video, it always goes, so my live streams always go to Twitter. So if you follow me on Twitter, it's at GreenAcresPC. Actually, let me go ahead and hide. So if I hide this real quick, see, there's the at GreenAcresPC right up there at the top. That's my handle on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, every single time I go live, it will actually tweet a live update to tell you that I'm live, so you can follow me. So that's one way you can get on and follow me. And then I've got my Discord here where this is my wife right here, Acres. See, playing World of Warcraft.
I'm not.
It says you are.
I might have it running in the background, but I'm not.
Yeah, my wife's a nerd like me, so she plays video games with me. So that's her. And then I've got all these other people here, and then a bunch of people. So this is a good way you can get a hold of me. I've also got bedbug channel. I got a cockroach channel. See, I got some videos. See, like I said, people ask questions how I would recommend getting rid of bugs and stuff. I've got all these different channels where I can post. There's spiders. I don't really have anything on spiders yet. Nobody really asks about spiders. There's termites. I got a couple quote, and you can go back and read. So if you're on Discord, this was a post 5/30/2019. So this is like the middle of last year, and you can go all the way back and read all of these logs way back and try to keep up to breast on things that have changed in the industry, and also videos that I've posted. You can catch it pretty easy on the Discord. And so there's some memes. So I made this one. I really like that one. It's like one of my favorite ones. I just made this last week, but I like that meme because that's, if you know that meme, that's a good meme. Anyway, but and then I've got my fleas here. So people ask questions about fleas. I got these long, posts. So you can go up and you can catch the videos. It's real easy to catch hold of that stuff. So if you're ever interested in trying to get a hold of me easier, so I started doing telephone consultations. And they're also listed in the description below to where you can go and you can call me and talk to me. But you have to put in for you have to actually make an appointment because I'm so busy all the time. All the time I'm busy. And so I've got certain time slots open to where I'm willing to talk on the phone. And so you can actually call and talk to me, and I'll talk to you locally, explain to you what I do and give you a lot of tips and pointers and stuff like that. And but this is free. Discord's free. YouTube's free. Facebook. If you catch me on Facebook or Twitter, that's all free. People tweet me pictures of bugs, and I try to identify them the best I can. Sometimes they're real blurry and I can't tell what they are, and other times they're perfect. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's a carpet beetle, or no, that's a bed bug, or whatever. So I really want to help. I like to help. I like to answer people's questions, and I love pest control. This is not a job for me. Pest control is a way of life. So it's for people. There are people out there that have a job, and then there's people out there who just love what they do, and they just do what they love, and that's what pest control is to me. I just really enjoy this, and I wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. No, I wake up in the morning, I go out, I spray for bugs, I kill mice, I help people out, I come home, I jump on YouTube, I talk to you guys, I talk about bugs, I go to bed, I have nightmares about bugs coming to get me, and in the stink bug season, when the stink bugs are swarming and the ladybugs are swarming, I have dreams about them. I really will wake up in the middle of the night thinking I've got bed bugs and mosquitoes and all kinds of stuff all in the bed with me. And so it's this is just what I like to do. I really enjoy this. But anyway, Decent Wood says, I need help with a quote. General and mice pest control. 13 buildings, total square foot, 280,000 square foot. 3-hour drive, must service each building twice a month. Holy cow, dude. So that's like 26 buildings? Because if you're doing 13 buildings twice a month, that's like 26 buildings. That's a lot, man. How many units is that? That's outrageous. That's crazy. Michael Keys says, I am still seeing cockroaches in my apartment, even after multiple treatments, keeping food away. I heard they can even live off of cardboard as well. They can live in cardboard. They don't live off of cardboard, but they live in it. Throw away cardboard if they're living in your cardboard. Should I remove this from my home and put paper in totes? I would. So, I'll tell you a trick. So I learned something new today about cockroaches. So one of the problems, and I'm going to go over this because your question and Michael's question actually kind of coincide. So the problem with multi-unit buildings, with apartments especially, is landlords are not willing to pay the price to get rid of your roaches. It has nothing to do with whether or not the pest control technician can get rid of your roaches. It has everything to do with the amount of time it takes to do your apartment, do it right, and make a living off of your apartment. And the problem is that these guys are going in here and they're quoting apartment buildings at like $4, $5, and $6 a unit, which gives a technician about 2 minutes to go in your unit, do what they need to do, and leave. All right, if you've got a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom unit, 2 minutes is not enough to do the job adequately and actually make a living. So that is the issue. The issue is that pest control guys underprice the job. They price it at a rate that they feel like they can make a living if they get in and get out and not actually do the job. Honestly, in order to get rid of a cockroach-infested apartment, you need to get at least $40 to $80 per unit to make it actually viable to be able to get rid of your problem. That's the problem. And there's no landlord that's going to pay that. The thing is, they may get $600 to $800 a month for you living there. They may even get $1,200 a month for you living there. You get up into Northern Virginia, some of the Northern Virginia apartments go for $2,600 a month. And they're not willing to pay $80 a month to get rid of roaches. But they're getting $2,800. So this is the issue with all apartment type dwelling, is the landlord they really don't care whether you have roaches or not. Now, I'm not saying all landlords are like this. Just 99.9% of landlords are like this. They prefer to just make money, and they don't really care about you as a tenant. And they blame you as a tenant. They blame the tenant for the roaches. They say, well, they're nasty, or they're not cleaning, or they brought these roaches in this place. They don't think that they're not paying the right amount of money. It doesn't matter who brought the roaches into the apartment. The fact is, the apartment has roaches, and it's their fault they're not getting rid of them. So if you're having problems with your property managers not getting rid of your roach problem, leave. Vote with your money. That's what you need to do. You need to tell the apartment manager, I'm leaving because like I just said, cockroaches are the number one leading cause of asthma in low-income housing and apartment-style living. Number one lead cause of asthma. So if you want asthma, live with your cockroaches. That's what you're going to get if you stay there. So we need to change the industry. I'm sorry, I got really fired up today because I watched this really wonderful woman. Her name is Dina. I think Dina is how they pronounce her name. But she's a professor at Virginia Tech. She's been working with low-income housing in Richmond for years, and she is in this all the time. And so she sees this all the time. And I'm watching these videos. She's very, very passionate about her job. And she's an amazing leader in the industry of cockroach elimination. And she's showing these pictures, and they've got people living in third world country type squalor. And the landlords don't care. They just allow for the babies to have roaches crawling all over them. She showed a picture of a bathtub with standing water in the tub. It wasn't that the water was plugged, it was standing in the tub. The drain would not drain. She did this apartment for 4 months. On the 4th visit, the water was still in the tub and had turned black because the landlord would not plunge the bathtub, get the bathtub fixed. So, the honestly, you need to price it what it's worth. If it's going to take you all day to do this job, you've already said it's a 3-hour drive. If it's a 3-hour to and back, that's 6 hours. If it's an hour and a half there and an hour and a half back, that's 3 hours. You're going to spend probably 6 to 8 hours on the building. I would price it $40 to $80 a unit. Now, you don't have to charge an initial, but that's what I would price it. You're not going to get the job. If you price it fair to what you can make to do the job and do it right, you're not going to get the job. That's just the way it is. And don't expect to. I don't price those jobs because those landlords are not going to hire you.
We'll put our bid in.
I put a bid. I always put a bid. Yeah. I always put a bid in on a job. I never get them because I'm always too high. I mean, I'm competing with people here locally that are doing $4 a unit. They're doing a 100-unit building for $4 per unit. You can't do that. You can't do a 100-unit building, high-rise, for $400 a month. You just can't do that. That's crazy. Two Kings says, yo man, just wanted to say thanks for the mice recommendations. Put the bait stations down 2 days ago. So far, so good. Good. Great. Cheryl says, as a kid, I like bugs. Like collecting them in jars. I got some. Look at this. Let me show you these. I collect bugs in a jar. See those? Those are bed bugs. I don't know if you see them or not. But this is a feed. See, there's a screen in there. So what you do is you take your bed bugs like this, and you hold your arm up like this, and you put it like that, and you hold it there, just like that. And what the bed bugs do, because it's open air, it's not sealed. They go in this little tube like this, and they bite your arm, and they feed off of your blood, just like this. And then you get bit, and you feed them, and you keep them alive. Anyway, that's what you do with that. So that's bed bugs in a jar, for anybody interested. Edo Griff says, can you add PBO to temperate FX? I don't know. You'd have to read the label. It says it on the label. If you read Zemprox's label, it'll tell you on there if you can put it in there or not. Molly Lambert says, would I know if I had bed bugs after 7 months of monitoring? If you haven't been bit, Molly, then you don't have bed bugs after 7 months. Cheryl says, Michael, you're not alone. I have the same problem with roaches in Colorado. There's a bed bug infestation. Oh, legislation. I wish there was. One for roaches too. Molly Lambert, would I know if I had bed bugs after 7 months of monitoring? Oh, same question again.
Well, that one I was gonna say. 7 months monitoring. Let's say you are getting bit. And
Well, if you're getting bit and you've been monitoring for 7 months, you have bed bugs. You've had them for 7 months.
It may not be bed bugs.
Well, it may not be. Yeah, it may not be. It may be no-see-ums too. It may be no-see-ums, fleas, mosquitoes. There's several things that could be biting you.
Carpet beetles.
Carpet beetles are horrible. Vicky Vibes says, I live in an apartment. My landlord put in a note on my door for a bed bug treatment. I don't have bed bugs and was told a neighbor does. They wouldn't say where, above, below, right, or left. Now I'm worried. Yeah, you need to treat your apartment. Let them treat your apartment. They're only going to treat that. That's actually good. It's good that your landlord is willing to treat your apartment and adjacent to the ones that have bed bugs. You absolutely need to let them in and let them treat, because it's going to keep them from spreading to your unit. Because that's another thing in multi-unit buildings. Bed bugs travel through the walls. They actually took sticky tape and put them in front of doors and found that the bed bugs would actually walk right out the door. They would walk right out the door from one unit to another. And so they don't necessarily even go through the wall. I mean, they can, but they'll walk right out the door and come in from another door. So you need to let them treat your apartment. Michael Key says, so you're saying they don't necessarily eat cardboard and paper, but breed in it. Yes, that's correct. I've just heard from different websites that it's a food. Okay, so it's not that the cardboard is the food source. It's the glue that glues the cardboard together. So cockroaches feed off of decaying matter, and glue is made from animal hide, and so it's really enticing to them to eat glue. So they will eat the glue that glues the cardboard boxes together. They'll also eat the glue that holds paper bags together, which is why it was a really common occurrence maybe 30 or 40 years ago for people to bring cockroaches in from like a Kroger or a Harris Teeter or something, because they had the paper bags. They would come home in the paper bags. Galaxy says, can bugs get into Dominion voting machines? All right, no political comments. Come on now. Funny. This is not a political channel. This is a bed bug channel. I don't work on computer bugs. Molly Lambert says, no bites since May 8th. All bites came from work. Co-workers were being bit too. Just been monitoring to make sure they didn't come home with me. Well, that's good. That's good. I don't think you've got them at your home. Decent Woods says, Crossfire is so good that I'm losing money on gas just to retrieve our bed bug lure traps. Molly Lambert says, also, can you stop reacting to bites? Yes, you can. But typically you don't. Most people don't stop reacting. People that react just react. They typically always react. But you can. I have actually stopped reacting as bad to flea bites. I used to react pretty horribly to flea bites. Now they bite me and I itch for like a day and then they're gone. But back when I was a kid and I'd get bit, I would itch for weeks. And so I have slowly reduced my reaction. I don't react near as bad to fleas as I used to, but I do still react pretty bad. I still itch like horrible. So I know it is possible to stop reacting from bug bites. Oh, AAA Exterminating of Raleigh joined. We hope you brought pizza. Joined up on the Discord channel today. I see you there. So you're in Raleigh. You're in North Carolina. Molly Lambert says, my bites were the size of a quarter. Now, see, I used to have a little ticker right on the side that would come up and show people chat so that when you watch this later, you can actually read through the comments and read it. But then I had these bots. Apparently, when you make it in the YouTube world, you get over 10,000 subscribers, these bots come and want to program and try to get you to look at all these stupid websites. So I had to take my ticker off so the chat doesn't come up there, because some of the stuff's pretty lewd. Tori says, Molly Lambert says, my bites were the size of a quarter and last over a month. Yeah, I've seen that before. I had a customer one time who had to use ice bat packs on her bites because they were so painful. It's probably one of the worst bed bug reactions I've ever seen. It was bed bugs. Tony says, how would you take care of bees going in and out of a second-story roof eave? I've sprayed the hole from a ladder with Towel-Star. Don't use Towel-Star for bees. That's a problem. Okay, so what you do. Now, this is going to be scary. All right, this is really scary to tell people how to do this. But if the bees are going into the eave of your home or a house that you're treating as a pest control technician, the way you kill bees is with dust. Now, you can get a pole. You can get a long extension pole with a duster on the end of it. And so you can puff dust into the cavity. But the best way to put dust into a roof eave or underneath siding or something is this close. You have a bellows duster. Let me show you what it looks like. All right, let's minimize that. Hand bellows duster. Let's go to Amazon. Shop. All right, this is my store that I've got. So let's see if we can find it. I think it's right on, well, there's the Carpenter Bees duster. That might work. That'll probably work. Let's go to Carpenter Bees. Let's see this bulb duster here. All right, so what you do is you fill this thing about half full, so up to that line with dust, that middle line. And then you shake it really good, and you create what you'll do is you'll create a pocket of dust type air inside that bulb right there. And then you puff it in through the tip. You stick that tip in the hole where the bees are going in and out, and you fill it full of dust. The reason you use an insecticide dust, and you can use like alpine dust. I recommend alpine dust. It's really good for bees. But and alpine also doesn't aggravate them. It's not as like a pyrethroid, so you're not going to make them really angry. And so that's why I use that. I never get stung. I never get stung doing this, ever. But I've been doing it all my life, so I know what to do. But so you fill it half full of dust. You fill that hole full of dust, and what it does is it when the bees fly back and forth through the dust, they pick it up through static electricity. And so as they're communicating with one another, as they fly back and forth through it, it spreads. And so not all the bees leave the hive in one day. They don't all leave. In fact, a lot of your reproductives stay in the hive. So as these bugs fly into the hive and they communicate with one another, the dust actually spreads from bee to bee to bee to bee, and within 24 hours, they're all dead. You know, I mean, I have had a nest last 48 hours, but typically it's within a day or two, they're dead. Spray does not work because most of your liquid sprays, especially something like Towel-Star, is not going to last once it's dry for bees. If you read the MSDS of most of your pyrethroid type pesticides, they even say right on them almost 99% ineffective on bees, which means after it's sprayed, it's not going to kill bees. So that's why you would eat dust. But I get right up there. I mean, I get right in the nest, and I'm filling it full of dust. I don't wear a bee suit. I wear typically a long sleeve shirt and a hat, just like I wear normally when I work. And that's all I do. I don't wear a hat. I don't wear like the big cover. I don't wear the big suit. I don't duct tape my gloves. I just go right in there and kill them. So that's how I do it. That's what I recommend. In fact, I have a YouTube video if it's still up. Let's see. YouTube. Let's go to Green Acres. And go there. And then search Yellow Jacket. Eliminate yellow jackets yourself with ease. There's the video. So if you go here, it's a 2-minute video. With me, there's my ugly face. And then you go in so far. Man, that was the old van because that's a TV that came down out of the ceiling. Alright, let me see if I can get in here so far. Skip this stuff. It's really short. It's a really short video of me actually doing it. There it is. So I don't know how good the video is because these are not the easiest to film. So now this is a hole in the ground. So this is where the yellow jackets are. Oh man, that's crap. See, that's crap right there. I need to take those off of there. There's the hole. Right there. See, that's the hole. It's right, well, you probably can't see it. Let me see if I can hide the title here. There we go. So this hole, the hole is right here. And if you watch, I've got that duster. Stick it in the hole. See there? Stick it in the hole and dust in the hole. And that's all you do. And then you get the heck out of there. That's how you get rid of bees. So there you go. Put my title back. Turn it off. Alright, so how do you take care of bees? Okay, sorry, I gotta catch up now. Vicky Vibe says, can bed bugs come through air vents in an apartment through a neighbor? Bed bugs can come through the wall. The thing is, they can come through the wall. They live in the wall. They will go in the wall. The females will retreat from the males, and they will go into the wall void, and they will come out another a hole in the wall. So, they can come directly through the walls into your apartment. V. Jones says, I had a company treat my house for bed bugs and said 80% of the time they don't have to come back. Been 5 weeks and it looks fine, no bites. I react fast, wake up when I get bitten, usually with welts. Yeah, that's pretty good. Vicky Vibe says, can bed bugs come through air vents? Okay, I already read that one. It's a repeat question. Sorry, I get to them as soon as I can. Give me time. I talk a lot. What product dust? Alpine dust is what works really well. Can bed bugs come through? It is the same question again. Now I'm gonna have to start timing you out if you keep asking the same question because it makes the chat scroll real bad. Makes it hard for me to keep up. So just ask it once. I'll get to it. Be patient. I'm getting to it. David says I have an off question. Well, ask any question. I'm vegan. You want to ask about my food diet? Edogra says, for your information, I found that according to MGK, PBO can be added to temperate. Okay. Yeah, see, AAA Exterminating understands the fault with doing these big jobs like that. It's better to just not bid. The problem with these bids is if you drive 3 hours out there to do this bid, don't be pressured to get the sale. Because if you get the sale, Decent Woods, if you get the sale, you need to understand that you need to get paid not only for every time you go out there and actually treat the building, but you need to figure in your initial. When you go out there and you actually deal with all these people and you take the time to write down a quote, and you do, that needs to be figured into your pay too. Because you can't be driving all the way out. Don't let people take advantage of you. You need to get paid for your work.
Don't overvalue the work either.
Don't overvalue or undervalue. Don't undervalue yourself.
Work.
The thing is that the pest control industry, people undervalue their knowledge. I mean, here I am. I give away all this information for free, but I learned this is 30-some years worth of knowledge.
How many units is it?
It's a lot.
I'm just gonna do a calculation.
I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's 13. I think he said it was 13 buildings. The total square foot is 280,000 square foot. It's huge. It's a monster building. This house is like 2,100 square foot.
It's a...
It's a lot of work.
So it's about 155 units, let's say 160. 160 units. Let's say he does the low ball, like 4. That's $640.
For an entire day's worth of work.
For
$640.
Entire day's work.
So that's not even worth it.
One bed bug job, he could make at least that and be done in like an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing.
That's the thing. He could do 8 bedbug jobs that day.
Oh, no one wants to do 8 bedbug jobs in a day.
Well, no, but I'm saying you could do.
It's government property.
Yeah, 640.
If it's government property, don't bid. I mean, I just wouldn't. I just wouldn't bid. I don't bid on government property ever because I've out of 15 bids probably that I've done on government property, I've got none, and I just don't even bid on them anymore. If I do, I bid high because the thing is, the industry needs to move away from this devaluation of their knowledge. You understand how to kill bugs. You know how to kill bugs. And yeah, see, he said he needs a price on a yearly basis. So he's got, he needs to figure out how it's going to cost for a year, and that's what he needs to give them. And it's going to be a high dollar.
Well, this is the thing, is that it's 3 hours away. So he's going to have to drive 3 hours there and 3 hours back.
Well, he's thinking $250,000. So is that $250,000 for 4 years? Is this a 4-year, like a lease type of thing? Let me see. Let me pull up the calculator here. So if you've got 250,000 and you divide that by 12, that's $20.83 a month. So let's round up to like $2,100 a month is what you're getting. So $2,100 is how much a unit?
$2,100.
Now that would be worth a day. At $2,100, that's worth a day. I would say do it if at $2,100. But the thing is, he's got to do that twice. No, wait a minute. This is twice a month.
Twice a month.
That's twice a month.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's still like around $6.50 a unit. My advice.
Yeah.
Would be.
Yeah, that's like $6. Yeah.
That's
like $6 a unit. That's still too low.
Sucking up his time.
Right.
By him even submitting a bid.
Right.
If they expect him to come out there and look at it.
You listen to her. She's the
accountant.
accountant.
He's wasting more time and money and effort by going out there. His time and his effort would be better spent looking into advertising, improving his SEO on his website, making sure his web presence is adequate. Because this, even if it did pan out, is going to be a time and a money sink.
So this is one of the things this is one thing about multi-unit buildings. Multi-unit, you're still spending like $6 a unit. Even at $250,000 a year, you're still only getting about $6 a unit. That's what you're getting. You need to price it by the unit. So you figure how many units is it? I would price at least $20 a unit. That's what I would. And that's still cheap. But I could afford to do it at $20 a unit and actually come out. No, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's what I would if it were me. But this is one thing you need to... So when you lowball, this is one thing that you... I've done a lot of cheap bids before. But I do cheap bids on like office buildings. All right? When I go into an office building and I meet the people who work in the office building, a lot of these people will hire me in their house. So you can make your money back on the houses that you do, because you can do a house faster than an office building. So you're not making as much money on the office building, but then you turn around and you treat the houses of the people who work in the office building. But the problem with government housing is the people that live in government housing can't afford to hire you anywhere else, and their family are probably not going to hire you. So what you get is what you get. That's all you're going to get ever out of that building. You can't further your your career elsewhere. That's the dead end. So once you get to that, that's all you'll ever do. You won't get any residual income off of that building. You might get hired on at like the secretary that runs the building, or whoever, whatever you call the lady, the lady that sits there at the front desk and gets you the keys that lets you into the units. You might do her house, but that's going to be the extent of what you're going to do.
But you have to also remember, she's going to hear about every single bug complaint all day, every day out of 160, 180 units.
Oh, and you better not have any complaints either, because those government housing is the worst place to work for, because you're going to get complaints. One of the problems is that if they don't have a lot of time on their hands to do anything but complain. And so if they see a bug, they're going to complain. You're going to get more complaints out of government housing than you will get out of any other type of apartment building you will ever work for. You will get callbacks, and if you're going to try to guarantee your work, even if you're going twice a month, you're going to get callbacks. They're going to expect you to come back out there for the money you're getting on government housing. And so that's one thing. Oh, it's not government housing. Well, then what is it? Because I thought it was government housing. So if it's not government housing, now that changes everything. Because government housing, I would never work government housing. So he says it's not government housing.
Even still.
I would do a pound.
Well, here's the thing. 3 hours there and 3 hours back. So you got to take your mileage. Let's say it's 180 miles one way. Times 2 again, because you can go out there twice a month.
Right.
What is mileage out? 59 and a half cents?
57 and a half this year. But it could be 59. I would go 59. Because the year's about to take over.
59?
Yeah, just go with 59.
So about $424, $425 a month.
Uh-huh. Just in driving. And that's mileage. Money out of his pocket.
Yeah, just in mileage that he could get in reimbursement.
Yeah.
So then you gotta think you're spending 6 hours on the road. You can't possibly do that many units in...
Well, he's not doing government housing.
Right, but you cannot do 180 units twice a month. Now, is he breaking it up?
It's not It's not government housing.
Here's what I'm saying.
It's 250,000 square feet.
250,000 square feet. I'm saying it's about 180 units, maybe? Is he splitting them up into... Is he going out
It's
there
administration,
twice?
Maintenance, chemical engineering, and et cetera type buildings. So it's basically government administration type buildings.
Government administration buildings.
It might be worth it. Honestly, it might be worth it to do it. But still, she makes a good point. So on your mileage, you're going to get about $450 reimbursement on the mileage alone. And that hits the business. So that's a hit directly to your profit. And so you have to take that off of the top.
6 hours, he can't... I'm guessing he's going to need to spend 4 to 6 hours there. At least to do a good job. So 6 hours there, he's gonna have to drive there. He's gonna have to work one day and then drive back. So then he's got a hotel room and.
There's not going to be a hotel room.
He's not gonna do a hotel room.
No, I don't think so.
That's a rough day. Is he gonna hire someone? Is his plan to hire someone in the future? Because you cannot legally send a tech out, drive them 6 hours, and then also have them work.
No, you can't.
You're going to so you have to set this up as if someone else is going to take over, and unless you plan to be the only person doing it ever.
Yeah.
So then you have
she'll really shit all over your idea.
Then you have to think about, you really do need to have that hotel room in there. So that's going to be, you need to plan on $300.
Oh, he said he's going to do an Airbnb. Get some bed bugs.
Yeah, you need to plan like a $300 cushion. And that's if it's not in a metropolitan area where pricing is more expensive. Just so that way every single month, even around holidays.
It sounds really, when you put it that way, you really do need to probably get more than $250,000. You're probably going to have to get more than that to make it worth it. Because if you factor in all your mileage, and if you hire somebody to do it, you have to pay their mileage. So I do mileage reimbursement. That's how I do all of my...
Because we drive our personal vehicle.
Because I do my personal vehicle. But even then, it's better to own the vehicle and get mileage reimbursement than if you get new vehicles. I think $250,000 is lowball. I think it is. Because if you factor in all of your mileage, plus you have to hire somebody, plus you have an Airbnb twice a month.
Plus you have meal expenses.
Yeah, meal expenses. See, I don't even factor in meals. Meals aren't that expensive.
But if you're going to be gone 2 days, meal expenses in on that.
Yeah.
So what could you, then you have
She's
to
boss.
say that. And
This
say,
is why
okay,
she handles my money.
instead of driving 6 hours and sucking up 4
Well, David,
days
no
out
one
of
else
your
is
work
asking a
schedule.
question. This is just no one else is asking a question.
Yeah.
Anybody else who want to ask a question, feel free to ask a question.
No, see, let me go on. 4 days out of your work schedule, you've got all this money sunk into it. You could spend 4 days a month and make more money.
David, the title of the show, the title is Free for All. Ask any questions. You can ask any question you want. You asked for Niber D dust straight down bathtub sink. No, you can't do that. That's all right. He's rude. He doesn't need to talk. David, I can lose you as a viewer. That's fine. You don't need to talk. But my channel, I'm going to get this straight right out now. My channel is not about viewership. I don't care if I have 100 viewers or 5 viewers. I've been doing this for 4 years. I do this for fun. I'm helping a guy that has an obviously really good question about, if you understand what we're talking about, you would understand that this is a problem with the industry today. Is multi-unit apartment buildings are a serious issue, and not just multi-unit, but government jobs are some of the worst jobs. Some of the most mistreated pest control technicians work on government pest control jobs. They are absolutely miserable to work for, and they take advantage of us as an industry. And so the reason I'm really interested in this is because I've got problems with the industry. So, but any questions at all are welcome in this channel, always. Any question. And so he asked any question. So it is pest control driven. I mean, you can't come in and just ask a question about, the weather. But, unless it's about bed bugs. Or how does the weather pertain to termites? So John says, any good advice on getting rid of gophers and moles? All right, so moles are really easy. Gophers are harder. They do make bait for gophers. But moles, you want to treat the ground where the grubs. So moles feed on grubs. One of the easiest ways to eliminate moles, and they make mole bait and stuff, but I've never had any good results on mole bait. But what I would recommend on moles is treating the ground and killing the grubs. So if you kill the grubs, the moles will leave the yard. Moles are very territorial, so you can usually just 1 or 2 moles is all you've really got tearing up the ground. And so if you throw out your granules and treat the ground, you will chase the moles out of the yard. But you need to do it on a regular schedule, like once every 90 days. Treat your yard for grubs and keep the grubs out of the yard, and the moles will leave your yard alone. It works every time. Marie says, I just wanted to drop in and say hi. Thank you for the bed bug videos. A coworker passed them around at work, so I was fighting them this summer. They're gone now thanks to your helpful videos. Well, good, Marie. I'm happy. Decent Wood says, I really appreciate the information. Ida Griff says, is Semexa better than Delta Dust for bed bugs? Semexa is not good for bed bugs at all. Delta Dust is not good for bed bugs. Dust is not good for bed bugs. Dust is bad. If you are not a pest control technician, you should not be using dust. Period. You do not know what you're doing. There is no one, I don't care who you are, that understands how to use dust unless you're trained to do it. I've never met a single person in 32 years who has been able to apply a pesticide dust effectively that is not a pest control technician. So if you are not a pest control technician, do not use dust. Buy Crossfire, use Crossfire. That's all you need. I have not had to dust for bed bugs in 3 years because that's how long I've been using Crossfire personally myself. I have not had to dust in 3 years. I have a video on how to dust effectively for bed bugs. I haven't followed that video in over 3 years because I don't dust for bed bugs ever. Only in outlets. That's exactly right. But you're a technician, you're a professional. You know, the point is that homeowners get dust and they put it on everything. Everything. Go read Reddit. Go read Reddit and you will want to pull out all your hair. You seriously, you will hear this advice. People will say, go put DE on everything. And it's like, that is one of the worst things, the worst advice you can give anyone to deal with bed bugs. Don't ever use dust for bed bugs. Unless it's in a wall outlet. Like I said, I found bed bugs in an outlet. Yes, you could dust wall outlets, but that's because it's away from the person. You don't want dust around people. Semexa is silica dust. That's very harmful for mammals. It's not good for respiratory. Diatomaceous earth is also not good for respiratory. So if you put this stuff around places that you sleep, you don't realize it because dust is very small. It gets in the air. It carries in the air. So you will breathe it in and it causes horrible, horrible respiratory problems. It's miserable. I will not do a bed bug job if I walk in and that stuff is on everything. I have walked out. I said, look, you get the vacuum, you clean that stuff up, because I know what harm it does to me being in it. If I've got to flip beds and mattresses, I get it all over me. I come out, it looks like I took a bath in talcum powder. Stuff gets all over you, and it's not safe. So don't use it. It's really not. So. But the thing is, there's so many techniques in pest control that aren't needed anymore, that we still use today, that really aren't needed at all. So like dusting your furniture is a practice that's like out of the 60s. I mean, people used to use sulfur and stuff to get rid of bed bugs and things, and it's a dust you put all over, and it makes it smell like rotten eggs. It's horrible. It doesn't even really work, but it's something people used to do for bed bugs. It is a technique. Dusting is something that people used to use for bugs all the time. It actually originates from crops, from agriculture. So that the Department of Agriculture is who monitors Virginia pest control applicators, because that's all that ever really used to use pesticide was farmers. And so if you've got, some tomato plants or, something and you need to crop dust, then yes, you put dust on your plants, but then the dust is going to get washed away every time it rains. And so it's not going to stay on the plants all the time. It washes away. But inside your home, it doesn't wash away. It stays in the home. And so the elements aren't actually breaking down the dust. The dust lasts for a really long time. And when you're exposed to a pesticide for a really long time, you can start having adverse effects from the pesticide. You want to use pesticides only when you need to, not all the time, because you don't need to be exposed to harmful pesticides like dust. And so using like boric acid dust and Semexa dust and DE and Delta dust and all these different dusts all over your personal belongings where you're going to breathe them in and come into contact with them all the time. They get on your hands. They don't wash off very easily, and it's just not healthy for you. It's, like I said, it's something that was brought inside from outside. It's things that were done to crops and stuff that make sense when you put on a crop because it's just going to wash away. But when you put it in your house, it doesn't wash away. So it's not really a healthy practice to put dust around inside your house. Should you spray Crossfire or temperate inside dressers, under furniture, etc. for bed bugs? You can. So I don't require my customers to pull everything out of their dressers. What I do is, if they want to do that, they can. I tell them that it's up to them. If they pull the dresser drawers and everything out and open it up, then I will treat inside the dressers for them. But typically I only require the treatment of mattresses and box springs and stuff like that. The furniture, like sofas, love seats, pull-out sofas and stuff. That's the kind of things that I treat for bed bugs all the time, furniture and things. But when it comes to dressers, nightstands, chest of drawers, stuff like that, I don't ever require that be done, because the bed bugs are naturally going to be drawn to the person sleeping in the bed, and because the bed's treated, and so the bugs crawl out, they crawl over the bed, and they die. And they're going to crawl out of the nightstand, they're going to crawl out of the dresser, because they're not going to stay there and starve. They're going to come out looking for a blood meal, and when they do, they die. And Crossfire is a non-repellent, so they don't know it's there, and they just crawl out and crawl through it. V. Jones said they put dust in my headboard. It's zipped up and enclosed, but still, yeah. So I don't really like putting dust inside furniture. It's just not. A box spring is one thing, because you're not really going to come into contact with a box spring. That's probably the last piece of furniture I've ever dusted, would be a box spring. But really it belongs inside the wall. In a wall void where no one's ever going to come into contact with it. And even then you don't really need to do that, because like I said, if you treat your bed and your bed frame and your headboard and footboard and stuff like that, you're going to get rid of your bed bugs. They're going to die if you treat those areas, because the bugs, they're going to crawl out to crawl and get to you, and when they do, they die. So, how can you tell if roach infestation is gone? Well, typically I tell people you want to treat your house 90 days from the last cockroach that you have seen. And that will ensure that all the egg cycles have been eliminated. And that's with German roaches. Not typically anything but German roaches, or maybe brown banded roaches, because of the way that they breed. They breed every 28 to 30 days. And so you want to make sure that you treat, some eggs can last for a couple of months without hatching. And so if you give it the full 90 days, it will eliminate your roach problem. So always 90 days from the last day you see a cockroach. And then you can pretty much be guaranteed you don't have any more roaches. What to do if a client wants a whole house service just because it's in one room? I treat the whole house. You should treat the whole house. You just do the whole house. It's not what if the client wants, it's what you should do. You should treat the whole house. You don't just treat one room for bed bugs, because bed bugs are tracked throughout the entire house. Well, I'm going to get on off of here now. It's almost 11:30 tonight. It's about getting close to midnight. I know I was on late. I stayed on late. It's an hour and a half. You guys have a really great night. I appreciate it. And I'll talk to y'all hopefully next Thursday. Subscribe. Like the video. See you later. Thanks.